Let's start this podcast off with some awkwardness. Look here, y'all. I promise I brushed my teeth, so you don't gotta worry about my breath stinking. Like, you can smell it anyway. But you know what? You ever like hear somebody talk and you just like, ooh, they breath stink. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the JGaines podcast show. You know what, y'all? I haven't recorded one of these since April. And you know what? Honestly, I'm gonna be real with y'all. The reason why I didn't continue this after the first episode, because I felt so awkward. I know I do all these fucking podcasts and vlogs and everything, but it's a whole nother ball game when you're doing a solo podcast by your fucking self. And it was like 2 weeks ago. I was like, you know what? I need to do something that's going to break me my comfort zone. And I thought this. I kept on trying to like avoid it. Like, no, you shouldn't do that. You got the lavish journey. No, fuck all that. No. And I was like, you know what? Fuck that. We're about to break this awkwardness, man. You know, so these may start off rough. They may start off good, you know, but this is like me in my totally natural habitat. I'm actually recording in my room. So the first episode I did was downstairs, and that's why I do my Lavish Journey podcast at, right? And I was like, you know what? Maybe if I was to set up the podcast in my room, I'd be a lot more comfortable. You know what? So far I am. I got my little green screen set up, got my little microphone over here, got the laptop, got everything set up, y'all. So I'm definitely looking forward to this experience. I plan on growing with you all, you know, because that's how I look at everything, honestly. I look at everything as just growth, and I look at us all growing together in a way, because I feel like we all go through these phases in life where we feel awkward, insecure about something. Me, I'm learning to, you know, build my brand and myself off insecurities, if that makes any sense, because honestly, y'all, I wear shades because I'm super awkward. Like, I just had my podcast last week with somebody, and I was just saying, you know, hey, I don't like looking people in their eye. And it was like, whoa, you don't like looking people in their eye? You know what that means? If you don't like looking somebody in their eye, you can't, something about looking into the soul or some shit. And I was like, you know what? I mean, I guess that makes sense for me. I just get really awkward when I'm just looking at somebody in the eye. Let's do something serious. Like, we having a business meeting, or it's a serious conversation, or like with nursing school, for instance, I have to look people in their eye all the time. When you go talk to patients and shit, you gotta look them dead in their eye. Well, sometimes, because sometimes they look away from you, because I don't know, I feel like we all got that awkward vibe, man. And that's the first topic of this podcast is going to be about, y'all. Breaking awkwardness. Man, this is like an awkward breaker right here, to be honest, y'all. The first step to breaking awkwardness, honestly, is to do something that makes you feel awkward. I feel like the more we push towards awkwardness, the better we get with handling awkwardness, you know what I mean? And I learned that simply through vlogging, to be real, y'all. I always grew up as like a little kid that was awkward, but I was like a what's called ambivert, when I'm like an extrovert and introvert. And I always grew up feeling awkward for some reason. I'm not sure why. I get around a crowd, I'm like, hey, turn up, and then my social media would just run down, and then I feel awkward and I have to leave. And then as you get older, though, you learn to be around more crowds better and everything, and just get more better and comfortable within yourself. You know what I mean? I guess when you go through many life experiences and start learning different things throughout life, you learn to, you know, break the awkwardness. Like right now, I'm like still awkward as fuck, but I'm about to have fun with it, y'all. So just let y'all know, I stutter a lot, and I'm most likely not going to edit these podcasts because, man, listen, editing podcasts takes forever. Like, for anybody out there listening, y'all should go check out the Lavish Journey. That's like my main podcast. That's why I started all this podcast and shit at. And honestly, y'all, I started that with just a vision. You know what I mean? I was watching Gary Vee. He's like a marketing expert. He's an entrepreneur, sells wine and everything. And he just said, you know, start a podcast. You know, it's one thing that's powerful, and that's our voice. Our voice is so powerful. That's why I created the Lavish Journey, also to help other people get their voice out there to speak. Because as I'm doing all these different interviews with all these different entrepreneurs, et cetera, artists, you know, just different categories of people, I love to actually sit back and listen to their stories. Because honestly, I always told people I'm going to write a book when I get older. And now as I'm going through this phase of life, I'm starting to understand that the book is being written now by me doing daily vlogs, by me doing this right here. This is going to be something to talk about for generations to come. And that's why I'm really big on just doing what the fuck you want to do, man. block out the judgment, block out the insecurities, and do this shit, you know? Of course, there's going to be times we're always going to try to oh, well, I shouldn't do this because of that. Or, oh, this make me feel uncomfortable. Who gives a shit? Anyway it goes, what do you want your story to be? Do you want a story saying like, oh, I wish I would have did this? Or do you want a story saying, oh, I did do this and this is what happened? You know what I mean? Right now, I'm just chasing the passion and I'm chasing like the energy, man. And, you know, that's just pretty much all I'm doing. But I do have a few topics besides the awkwardness one. I put them on my phone because I know if I forget, I was going to get very awkward. So the topics was breaking awkwardness, podcasting, 2019 update, and your environment is everything. I know some of these topics are very cliche, but your boy had to start off with something, man. So obviously we just started with breaking awkwardness. You know, the key to breaking awkwardness is just doing shit that makes you feel uncomfortable, man. Just doing everything that makes you feel uncomfortable. Not shit you don't like doing, but shit you know you want to do, but it's like something stopping you from doing it or something holding you back from doing it. And that's usually ourselves, because we all have our own little insecurities. And I understand. I'm not perfect. I still do to this day. Although I'm doing this, I still have some other things I need to do to break out that comfort zone. So, you know, you just got to keep it going, man. And when oh shit, hold on, y'all. I done pressed something on my phone. And podcasting. I could talk to y'all a lot about podcasting. You know, every time I start my podcast show, as you all can see, I have like a lot of different people on there, like I say, and I really don't speak that much on there. That podcast show is for everybody else. And people always ask me, why don't you go in there and take it over? Why don't you go in there and do this? Why don't you do that? Like, nigga, what? Like, why would I just sit up here and have somebody else on there telling their story and me just, hey, let me interrupt real quick. Well, my life is this. No, it's not about that, man. I made the Lavish journey for a community, for other people to speak. I'm like the LeBron James. I'm just like the LeBron James of podcasting, stutter right there a little bit. It feels like I do come in clutch when I need to. Let's say we having a group podcast and it gets like super duper awkward or something. Yeah, boom, I come in, I say a few words. Hey, I feel this, this. And I bring the volume back up. I'm like a team player, man. I'm not trying to just have the full blown spotlight. If I want that, I'll just keep doing these solo podcasts. You know what I mean? And I love podcasts. I think podcasts has definitely like put me out in the universe, to be honest, y'all, because I started my podcast in Toledo. And when I started my podcast in Toledo, like I really had no direction of it. Of course, I wanted people to come on it and speak freely, but I didn't know like what target area to hit. Like me and Ashley, we just one day, we was at my apartment chilling. It's like, hey, fuck it. Let's go record an episode, talk about traveling. You know what I mean? And like I said, y'all, it's all about just starting. And once I did that, I did have my brother Chris come through, some of my frat bros come through. And then, you know what actually made me shake hard on the Lavish journey? Shout out to Boom the Bomb. Boom. Listen, y'all, when I invite him over to do a podcast, because I wanted to also interview people, because I did interviews, so I did podcasts, but we get to that later. Hit him up. He came through for a podcast, right? And this is when I also learned about marketing. So I posted a few clips of him, you know, talk about what he do and everything, and, you know, his insights and everything he wants to talk about. I posted on my Instagram, right? He reposted it. And then for you know it, I'm getting all these followers and people hitting me up in Toledo like, hey, can I get on your podcast? I'm like, oh, shit. Oh, it was just so much that hit me really quick. And that's when I learned instantly, like, whoa, this is dope. You know what I mean? Because mind you, Toledo was where I went to college at. I didn't really know nobody out there besides the college students. So Boone and Baum was like, you know, he's from Toledo. So he had a lot of locals hit me up, and it's hit me up. Now I met Abby Sarabia. I met my brother Tony Patron, all from that one interview, man. So I always shout out Boone and Baum when it comes to, like, you know, me blowing up with the Lavish journey, y'all, because by me simply doing that podcast with him, it took off. Everything took off, you know. I understand I still have more ways to go, but damn, ever since that was it. And then, you know, I attract a lot of hip hop artists. Now I start to reach out to different entrepreneurs, like clothing designers, you know, people write books, musicians, some of everything. And I'm glad that I did that, because it put me into an atmosphere of creative people. You know what I mean? And that's also what I talk about is your environment. Because as I did that, I started to attract people that was also doing things with their life. Everybody's doing something, don't get me wrong, but creatives, you know, that actually believe in their art and believe in what they do, and eventually they want to live off of it. So I started to attract a lot of those people, and before you know it, I'm looking at my network, I'm like, damn, I know a lot of fucking people. You know what I mean? And it's just amazing, you know. And eventually I do plan on like having probably like an event, the Lavish Journey Fest or something, you know what I mean, to help get all these creators together. Like I told my brother Colin for Colin Conversations, man, the Lavish Journey is more of a community of people, you know what I mean? Eventually I do want to get everybody together, everybody networking, and just all become one as a whole, you know what I mean? Of course, everybody has their own differences with shit, obviously. But on the creative side, though, I would love to just have everybody, you know, become one and really just, you know, grow from it, you know, network. Hey, what do you do? Hopefully they can collaborate some things, because I'm really big on that, man. I'm really, really, really big on everybody connecting. I try to do the best I can do. You know, at the end of the day, I'm one man doing all this shit. Like, I sit here for 8 to 12 hours editing podcasts. And that's one thing that do irks me. I'm not going to lie to y'all. So let's say if I do a podcast, right? And I have like 5 of them I need to edit. I don't like when people hit me up the day after, hey, when you gonna post it? Hey, hey. Like, that shit annoys me. That's the one thing about podcasts I do not like, man. The people that do that, I just nicely tell them, hey, bro, it'd be up when it be up. It's simple as that, you know what I mean? But I understand why everybody's anxious, because, you know, it's a video or podcast with them. But, man, that editing is no fucking joke, y'all. Imagine sitting on a computer for 8 hours editing a video, right? Actually, let me rephrase all that. It takes 1 or 2 hours to edit a podcast, and then to get the podcast from the software that you're editing it on. For 1 hour videos take about 3 hours, but for 2 hour videos, it takes about 8 hours, y'all, to download. And then, whoa, we're not done yet. Then we have to put it on YouTube. Guess how long that takes? You guessed enough. It takes 8 to 12 hours. Yes, 8 to 12 hours. And that shit is hard work, but I love it though. It's something about just being creative that really fires my soul, y'all. It's like the more creative I am, the more I find myself in a way. And that's why I really want everybody out there to listen to this to really believe in your passion, man. You know what I mean? Like, I understand we need money to get by, to pay bills, to do what we need to do, man. But that creative shit is really gonna take you far. And one of my fears in college was that I was going to graduate and just get a job and, of course, still be creative, but not as full-blown force, y'all. I ain't gonna lie, that was one of my biggest fears. I even wrote it in my journal. So after I graduated college last year, December 11th, I think, 2018, I graduated college. I almost fell into that trap. I almost fell into my fear, y'all. I graduated college. I came home. I signed up for this NCLEX review class and everything, and I was putting so much energy into that, but then it hit me like, oh, I'm not putting energy to Lavish Journey. So I try to put energy into that too while studying for the NCLEX. I'll be real, I just couldn't balance them both, man, because the NCLEX is really hard to study for, and the Lavish Journey, it was like I was building it from the ground up, because I had went missing from August all the way to December, you know what I mean? Because I was booming when I came to Cleveland with the Lavish Journey, but now I went back to Toledo for college. It paused, because, you know, nursing school ain't no hoe, y'all. Nursing school, shit, it put your ass in check real motherfucking quick. And that's what I learned. I was like, damn. So I put the Lavish Journey on hold, and then I graduated college. And, you know, one of my goals was to rebuild the Lavish Journey to where it's at now. And then, you know, I got caught in the sauce, got lost in the sauce, y'all. I was so busy trying to, you know, study for this NCLEX and everything. Everybody wanted me to be a nurse, so I wanted to please everybody, you know. And I just went through that. You know, I actually got caught in my fear. And then it wasn't until, honestly, July. Just a few months ago, I broke out of it. I was sitting at home. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. This is the first time I was actually feeling low. I was like, damn, I'm studying for this NCLEX, but I'm not following my dreams, man. I was so busy chasing like that title and that dollar sign that I wasn't thinking about my dreams. And I remember where I wrote in my journal, man, to always follow your dreams, man. The money will follow. So I went to Miami in July. You know what I mean? I was talking to Ashley. Ashley's one of my biggest inspirations. She actually helps me through this journey and through all this shit I go through. And I was like, hey, Ashley, I want to follow my passion. She's like, well, if you want to do that, this is the time to do that shit now. You're still young. You got your nursing degree. You have 3 college degrees. You can always go back and take that NCLEX. And I always knew it was in the back of my head. But, you know, like I said, it's all about your environment. And by me hearing that, I came home from Miami. And I was like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm going all in with my creative. I'm going all in with my passion. I'm going all in. So at the end of the day, if I win or if I lose, I can say I went all in rather than, oh, I wish I would have did this. Or, oh, I was too busy trying to chase the money and do this. Oh, I didn't have enough time. I went all in, y'all. Mind you, I have 3 college degrees, right? And I'm an Uber driver. And people look at that like, oh my gosh, you have 3 college degrees and you're an Uber driver. Like, who gives a shit? That's what people's problem is too much. You know, they worry about money so much and not their creativity. I chose creativity over money. I looked at it as, hey, if all comes down to the worst thing ever, I can go ahead and use my college degrees. And that's why I'm blessed about. I know a lot of people out there, you don't need a college degree. But me being a black male growing up, man, let's be fucking real. You need something. If you don't got that business mindset at 18 ready to rock and roll, you need to at least go to trade school, get some kind of experience, or get a college degree, whatever. I know about the depth, but excuses. So, man, that's when I honestly decided to start taking Lavish Journey serious. I've been daily vlogging since April, and I've been feeling free ever since then, y'all. Of course, it's a very tough journey to do because I'm over here trying to build something I make no money from into something. You know, now I'm on podcast like 111 right now, and I just love this journey. You know, each day I wake up, it's like it's up to me because Uber is like it's no scheduled work. It's whenever you want to make money. So how much money you got on your account, it's all about how much you want to work. You know what I mean? A job or whatever. You know, you're set a set schedule 3, 4, 5 days out the week at a certain time, and that's all you make. You know what I mean? That's cool, whoever likes that out there. But me personally, I needed some kind of flexibility. And the most flexible thing right now is Uber, DoorDash, you know, Lyft and all that stuff. And I use it to my highest advantage. But I had to learn one thing while I took on this journey of, you know, just being an Uber driver and building my brand up. You gotta fucking budget. Hold on, y'all, I need some water. Sorry, y'all heard a gulp. Hold up. Somebody needs to sponsor me. But you gotta budget your money. You know, it was a lot of in college. I ain't gonna lie, I spent a lot of money in college. I know they say college is the brokest time ever, but for me, I was a baller in college. And I just buy a whole bunch of dumb shit, just spending money on whatever, you know what I mean? But when I got out of college and I started just becoming an Uber driver and, you know, just making enough money to pay bills and invest in my brand, it makes you really look at the shit that you buy. It makes you look at everything carefully, like, maybe I shouldn't buy that liquor tonight, or maybe I shouldn't go to that party. Maybe I shouldn't go buy that steak and shake. You know what I mean? Although I still do buy these things, I have to cut back on them. You know, I went from eating, you know, Chick-fil-A at least 3 times a week. I'm gonna be real with y'all, to once every 2 weeks, or, you know, once every other week. It depends, man. You know, and I learned that discipline is what it really takes to build the brand and to build whatever you want to do out there. If you don't discipline yourself, the shit's not going to grow. Let's be real. It's not going to grow. I mean, you can lie to yourself all you want to all day. Yeah, it is. But let's be real. It's 2 things I'm real big on. Number 1, the title of my first personal podcast, consistency. As y'all can see, I've been doing daily vlogs for 202 days, man. And that screams loudly like, hey, I'm a consistent motherfucker. And I'm claiming it. I'm claiming my greatness. I am very consistent, and I am blessed for being consistent. I don't give a fuck what anybody else says. I love it. But now I have to work on discipline. I've been working on it, obviously, you know, by me still maintaining a year after college, not working a full-time job, paying bills. Of course, I live with my parents. Shout out to my parents. But besides all that, I maintain, you know, I just have to learn to be consistent with what I do, and also discipline myself to continue to be consistent. You know what I mean? Let's say if I just go ahead and start spending all this fucking money, then I get, you know, in my negatives, and then I got to go get a job, and then boom, I feel like my freedom will be gone, man. I'm really big on freedom. And that's why I do Uber, honestly, is because the freedom of it, man. The freedom you could put into yourself and your creativity. And like I said from the get-go, that's my biggest fear, to just get out of college and work and forget about everything I'm doing now. And my goal with this, y'all, now since we're exiting 2019, still got a month left. A lot could happen in the next month and a half. Shit, you never know. But, you know, my goal for 2020, I don't know what I was talking about a minute ago, but my goal for 2020, honestly, y'all, I have 3 big goals. Number 1, to redo the Lavish Journey studio, aka my parents' basement. I plan on getting new carpet, new drywall, probably not a new table. That table cool. And you know, just painting the walls, just, you know, making it look really good down there. You know, making it look real like, get new ceiling and everything. Number 2, this is no kind of specific order, but I guess it is in a way, huh? Number 2, I want to backpack out the country for 1 full month, y'all. And I'm leaning more and more towards Europe. I feel like I get the biggest bang for my buck, you know. And people ask me, like, what makes you want to go out the country? I'm like, what makes me not want to go out the country? Like, I'm young, I'm free right now. It's like I'm not tied down to anything. It's like, this is the time to just live. You know, I know whenever should be the time to live, but right now, man, when you're young and you're free, you're not tied down to a lot of shit. What's the point of just sitting down trying to move safely? You know, and I always fall into that trap too, of trying to move safely. And I ain't trying to say be risky and risk your life, you know what I mean? But, you know, take some risk, you know, go for it all, because you don't want to look back and say, oh, I wish I would have did that. And that's one of my biggest fears as well. You know, looking back saying, I wish I would have did that. You know, meeting these different people through nursing school, through college and everything, you meet a lot of older people, a lot of mid-aged people. And it really bothers me when I meet somebody and they tell me to go for it all. I mean, that doesn't bother me, but it bothers me to say, go for it all. I wish I would have did that. You know, hearing that honestly shifts my mindset. It makes me just like, whoa, you know, I don't want to be that guy. I thank that guy for sharing that with me, because without them sharing this shit with me, I want to be telling y'all this, but I don't want to be that. You know, I want to get old and say, hey, go for it all because I went for it all. Look at me. You know what I mean? And that's my goal, man. That's why I want to go out the country, go out to Europe, go at least to 5-6 countries, go out there and really enjoy life. And, you know, and possibly take the Lavish journey out there, you know, meet some different YouTubers, meet some different vloggers, get them on a podcast, network, and just live life. And after that, y'all, it's one goal I have to conquer. You know, at the end of the day, I know last year I paused on study for the NCLEX. I have to conquer that. I have to, you know, go ahead and get that NCLEX license. You know, at the end of the day, if I do got work as a nurse, I'll work as a nurse. You know, I want to feel free when I go work as a nurse. I don't want to feel like, oh, I put my dreams on hold. That's why I'm conquering everything now. So when I do possibly have to go work a job, I feel good about it. I won't feel like, oh man, I gotta work this shitty job. And no, I don't want to feel that way. I want to feel like, yes, I'm looking forward to going to work. I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to taking care of people. You know what I mean? I really believe in following your dreams and doing what you want to do first, then do everything. You know what I mean? That's the path I'm on right now, y'all. And that's the path I'm going to keep going with this, you know. And yeah, this is a pretty good podcast right now, y'all. But that's all I got to say today, man. Did I tell you my 3 things? Yeah, I said I want to travel to Europe, redo the basement, and take my NCLEX. Those are my 3 goals for 2020. And for 2019, man, this was a big year. Big year. I know it from the outside in probably look like, oh, he graduated college and he just started doing podcasts, but it's big, yo. I didn't travel with my podcast, man. I didn't did live podcasts. I didn't went to Miami, California, Washington D.C. I just been building, you know what I mean? And I guess the feeling it is of just really following your dreams and living your purpose is like no other, you know what I mean? And then I realized that life is bigger than money. You know, I always, you know, always grew up thinking, you know, money was life. You know what I mean? You saw these nice guys with nice cars and big houses and everything. Of course we want that. Of course it inspires me, but I look at life bigger than that. Like right now, I make a few $100s a week and I feel really rich. I know that sounds like, what? Yeah, I feel really rich. I pay my bills, have a few dollars to invest in myself and a few dollars to eat some food, you know what I mean? And I feel so rich because I'm able to wake up on my own terms and do what I love to do. So whatever my life is and my reality is what I'm manifesting day by day. And that's the beautiful thing about the life I'm living, life other people are living as well, is that manifestation, you know what I mean? Really believing and seeing what you want to do with your life and making it come true. It all starts from within. When you get that feeling within, you just got to keep following that vision. Even you got to close your eyes and do it, because I do that a lot. I'll be real. It feels like each day my eyes are closed, but I'm living that vision. I don't know what's going on outside of me sometimes. I'm gonna be real, but I just know I'm chasing that vision and I'm living it. And the more I chase it, the more I open my eyes every now and then and see that, whoa, I'm actually living it. Like right now, me doing this podcast, like, whoa, you know, it's actually happening. And for those out there that's listening, that listen to this podcast, I love y'all. I'm going to keep doing this every week. Like I say, it's all about breaking out that comfort zone, you know, really being what you want to do and living your truth and just loving, man. But as always, y'all, stay tuned for next episode. You know, I can't say create, inspire, spread greatness, but I just said it right there. But I love y'all. Peace, love, my family.